The world, for Noelle, was not silent. It was a tapestry of vibration. The deep thrum-thrum-thrum of the school's ancient boiler through the floor. The staccato tap-tap-tap of Principal Yates's pen against his desk, a Morse code of impatience. The low, fuzzy murmur of the crowd in the gymnasium during the mandatory town unity assembly, not words, but a wash of negative pressure, like the air before a storm. Noelle sat in the front row. As mandated, her interpreter, Miss Gina, a comforting presence a few feet away, hands flying. But Noelle wasn't watching Gina. She was watching Mayor Harlan on the stage. His mouth a wide, practiced oval, his chest puffed out. His voice, to her, was a distant, tinny vibration from the overworked speakers, meaningless noise. But his body was screaming. His left eye twitched, a tiny, frantic pulse. His smile didn't reach his temples, where a vein throbbed, and his hands, clasped so piously in front of him, were white-knuckled. He was a man holding a bomb, not a Bible. Ms. Gina signed the official words, ... And so, the deal with Kinross Petroleum is a blessing, a lifeline for our town. The jobs, the revenue, a future for our children. Noelle's eyes scanned the stage. Councilwoman Shaw, nodding like a doll, but her foot was jiggling, a blur of anxious energy. Police Chief Briggs, stoic, but his jaw was clenched so tight, she could see the muscle leap. They were all lying. It was in the vibrations, in the way the wooden stage-boards creaked a different, strained frequency under their collective weight. The town was being sold a fairy tale, and the storytellers were vibrating with terror. Noelle raised her hand. A simple, clear gesture. Principal Yates, standing in the wings, saw her. He made a sharp, cutting motion across his throat towards Ms. Gina, then pointedly looked away. Ignored again. The assembly ended with forced applause, a chaotic, pounding rhythm that felt like a panic attack. As the crowd shuffled out, Mayor Harlan stepped off the stage, passing right by Noelle. He leaned close to Chief Briggs, thinking himself safe in the din. Noelle didn't hear his words. She felt them. Their particular, guttural vibration of a harsh whisper, the puff of air against her cheek. She saw the shape of his lips, the grim set of Briggs's face in response, and she saw the mayor's hand pat Briggs's arm, then slip a small, metallic object, a USB drive, into the chief's jacket pocket. A transaction, smooth, quick, invisible to everyone except the goer they never thought was listening. Who question, embedded in narration, what do you do when you witness a crime in a language no one else understands, in a town that has already decided you have nothing to say? Cedar Ridge was a town built on a whisper. A century ago, it thrived on timber. Now, it was dying of quiet. The Kinross Petroleum delta frac in the surrounding hillswise, the shouted promise of salvation. Noelle's world was one of careful, curated translations. Her mother, Lorraine, worked 2 jobs and fought a constant, weary war with the school. District 4, adequate resources. Miss Gina was an ally, but overworked. Noelle was proficient in ASL, lip reading, and written English. But to the power structure of Cedar Ridge, she was a logistical problem, a line item in a budget, a ghost in the hallway. Her refuge was the old library, a Carnegie building with soaring ceilings and a mysterious acoustic anomaly, the Whispering Gallery, a domed ceiling in a disused corner where the faintest breath, the lightest footfall, was captured and carried, with perfect clarity, to the opposite side. The librarian, Mr. Fletcher, a retired, kind-eyed black man who always had time to write notes back and forth with her, had shown it to her. "Sound gets trapped here," he wrote. "Secrets last forever." Noelle loved it. It was the one place where the vibrations of the world were organized, clear and powerful. She could hum a note and feel it swirl around her, a private symphony. Her evidence was felt, not heard. The grim vibrations of the town hall meetings about Kinross. The way the water from her tap sometimes carried a faint, oily shudder. The sick, trembling feeling of the earth when the geological survey trucks rolled out to the woods. And the people, the way Mr. Fletcher's hands shook with anger as he wrote about the poisoned water table. The way old Mrs. Green from the neighboring farm signed sick, all sick with desperate, stabbing fingers when talking about her cows. But when Noelle, with Miss Gina's help, tried to bring her concerns to a town council forum, she was met with patronizing smiles. Mayor Harlan signed a clumsy, condescending "thank you, sweetheart" before the microphone was cut. Councilwoman Shaw said, "The adults are handling this, dear." The official translator, a Kinross contractor, conveniently missed her signed questions about environmental impact into bland queries about community beautification. The message was clear. You are a child. You are disabled. Your perception is not data. Sit down. Be quiet. The power imbalance was absolute. It wasn't just mayor versus teenager. It was the entire, hearing, normal world against a girl whose primary sense was considered a deficiency. They controlled the narrative, the microphones, the translations, the facts. She had only the truth thrumming in her bones and a growing, cold fury. Cycle 1. The silencing. After the forum, Principal Yates called Noelle in. "You're causing a distraction," he wrote on a notepad, refusing to use the school's video relay service. "Focus on your studies, not town gossip." Ms. Jinnah was reprimanded for facilitating disruption. Noelle's school laptop, her main conduit to the world, was flagged for unusual activity and its permissions restricted. Mini cliffhanger. That night, from her bedroom window, Noelle sees shadowy figures and unmarked vans near the library. The next day, the door to the Whispering Gallery wing is newly chained shut. A structural hazard. A note says, Cycle 2. The sickness. Mrs. Green's cows begin to die. Then children at the elementary school near the testing site develop rashes, mysterious nosebleeds. The town Facebook group buzzes with worry, but the Cedar Ridge Clarion runs a story, quoting a Kinross-hired doctor. Seasonal allergies. Mayor Harlan announces a wellness initiative, handing out Kinross-branded water bottles. Pure mountain spring water, he proclaims. Noelle fills one, lets it sit. A faint, iridescent slick forms on the surface. A vibration of WRONGNESS. Cycle 3. The ally. Desperate, Noelle writes a long, detailed letter to Mr. Fletcher, listing everything she's felt and seen. She slips it under the library's after-hours Dropbox. The next day, he's not at work. The substitute librarian says he's taken a sudden leave of absence. Noelle's blood runs cold. She races to his small house on the edge of town. It's empty. A for sale sign is already staked in the yard. The ultimate silencing. Mini cliffhanger. As she stands, devastated, on Mr. Fletcher's lawn. A black sedan slows as it passes. Chief Briggs is driving. He looks right at her, his expression unreadable, then drives on. The threat is implicit, vibrationless, and clear. Cycle 4. The tuning fork. In physics class, the teacher demonstrates resonance. A tuning fork struck, vibrating at a specific frequency, can cause another identical fork across the room to sing in sympathy. Noelle stares, an idea igniting. Secrets get trapped. Vibration carries truth. The Whispering Gallery is sealed, but what if she could become the gallery? What if she could capture the town's secret vibrations and make the world resonate with them? Her phone is monitored, her laptop locked down, but she has an old, analog cassette recorder her mother used for college lectures, and she has her profound, vibrational sensitivity. She can't record words from a distance, but she can record the sound of them, the raw, damning audio. The lie is in the frequency, the stress, the hidden tremor. Cycle 5. The trap. The annual Founders Day Gala is coming up. The mayor, the council, the Kinross executives all will be there, drunk on champagne and their own invincibility, talking freely in a private wood-paneled room at the Ridge Club. A room, Noelle knows, from helping set up last year, with wonderful, lively acoustics. A room where secrets might vibrate right into the air vent behind the heavy velvet drapes. A dangerous, clear plan forms. It's not about hearing, it's about harvesting sound. Asterisks. The night of the gala, Noelle is supposedly at a deaf youth sleepover, a cover arranged with a trusted friend. Instead, dressed in black, she is a shadow in the alley behind the Ridge Club. Her mother's cassette recorder is in her bag, modified with a powerful, contact microphoner device that picks up vibrations through solid objects. Her plan is terrifyingly simple. The air vent from the private dining room leads to a rarely used storeroom. She will place the contact mic against the vent pipe, let it drink the vibrations of the celebration, and hope the arrogance of power is louder than their caution. But as she approaches the vent, she sees a figure, Chief Briggs, smoking outside the service entrance, standing guard. Her path is blocked, her plan doomed. Despair claws at her. Then she feels it, a deep, rhythmic pulse through the bricks of the building. Boom, boom, boom. The bass from the party's DJ. It's a chaotic mess, but within it, she focuses. She feels a sharper, clearer vibration riding on top of the bassline voices. Laughter. The clink of glasses. They're using a microphone for toasts inside. The sound system is coupled to the building's structure. She doesn't need the vent. The entire building is her whispering gallery. With shaking hands, she presses the contact mic, not to the vent, but directly to the warm brick wall of the club. She hits record. The tape whirs silently. She closes her eyes, becoming a conduit. She can't decipher the words, but she can feel the textures. The slick, booming joviality of Mayor Harlan's speech. The sharp, greedy laughter of the Kinross VP. The low, conspiratorial murmurs that follow. She holds the mic there for 20 minutes. A silent ghost, harvesting the town's rotten soul in vibrating waves onto magnetic tape. This is no longer a plea for someone to listen. It is an act of evidence collection. The girl they rendered deaf has just made the most important recording in the town's history. The raw tape is a puzzle of muffled booms and indistinct murmurs. Noelle needs to translate vibration into proof. She can't do it alone. She goes to the one person left who might understand. Ms. Gina, who has just been served a pink slip for budget cuts. Noelle plays the tape. Gina hears only noise. But then Noelle hands her a notepad, on which she has written, "Listen with this." She has made a list of time stamps and the corresponding vibrational profile she felt. *214 Mayor's speech, fake cheer, stress, tremor on words, clean and safe. **743, Kinross, VPD poise, laughs after saying the EPA report, vibration is cruel, sneering. **1512, multiple voices close, whispering Mayor says. Briggs' handle it felt same as when he gave USB drive. With this key, Gina, a trained listener, focuses. Using audio software on her personal laptop, she cleans, amplifies, isolates. With Noelle's vibrational map as a guide, the muddle begins to resolve. Phrases emerge from the murk, Mayor Harlan filtered, but unmistakable. The preliminary water test results are catastrophic. Kinross has the real report. Our job is to keep the spring water narrative flowing until the drilling is past the point of no return. Kinross VP. The bonus structure is tied to quiet acquisition. Once the mineral rights are locked, let the environmentalists sweep. Will be a memory and a bank account. Chief Briggs low, grim. Fletcher won't be a problem anymore. The accident is arranged for out of state, clean. Gina stares at Noelle, horror and awe dawning. Noelle has not just recorded audio, she has provided the Rosetta Stone to decode its hidden emotional truth, the truth of guilt and conspiracy. The next day is the final yay-nay town vote on the Kinross deal. The auditorium is packed, buzzing with desperation and manufactured hope. Mayor Harlan gives his final, grandstanding speech. Just as he reaches his crescendo, Noelle and Ms. Gina walk down the center aisle. Noelle carries a simple, portable speaker. Gina carries the laptop. This young lady has something the whole town needs to hear, Gina says, her voice ringing out, not signing. The mayor splutters, tries to have them removed. But the crowd is curious, tense. Noelle plugs in the speaker. She looks at the mayor, at Chief Briggs, who has stepped forward, his hand on his radio. She looks at her mother in the front row, whose face is a mask of fear and confusion. Then, Noelle presses play. The cleaned, amplified audio fills the auditorium. The mayor's voice, but not his public voice, his private, treacherous one. Kinross VP's callous laugh. Chief Briggs's cold promise about Mr. Fletcher. The effect is not of an explosion, but of a great, held breath being released as a collective groan. The vibrations in the room shift from anticipation to anguish to rage. Mayor Harlan stands frozen, his face collapsing in on itself. Chief Briggs's hand falls from his radio. The truth, captured by the one person they never thought could hear. It is now screaming into the silence they tried to impose on her. It is not a confession extracted in an interrogation room. It is a confession broadcast in the town square, witnessed by hundreds. The power doesn't just shift, it inverts. The hunters are exposed, trapped in the sonic footprint of their own crime. The fallout is swift, messy, and real. The state attorney general's office descends on Cedar Ridge. The Kinross deal is voided. Mayor Harlan, Chief Briggs, and the Kinross VP are arrested on charges of conspiracy, fraud, and environmental endangerment. Mr. Fletcher is found, safe but shaken, at a cousin's house in another state. The accident had been a ruse to scare him into fleeing. But the victory is not in the perp walks. It's in the quiet aftermath. Noelle is not hailed as a superhero. She is a tired, brave girl who has been through a trauma. The town's relationship with her is complicated shame, gratitude, awkwardness. Some still look at her with pity, now tinged with a hint of fear. The real change is structural, with a lawsuit settlement. Cedar Ridge establishes a proper community health fund for those affected by the preliminary poisoning. The town council is dissolved and reformed, with Noelle's mother, Lorraine, winning a seat. The first act of the new council is to mandate that all public meetings have certified independent ASL interpreters and real-time captioning, not just for the deaf, but for clarity, to ensure nothing is ever lost in translation again. In the final scene, the chains are cut from the whispering gallery door. The town gathers, not for a politician's speech, but for a dedication. Small brass plaque is unveiled beside the dome. The whispering gallery here. Sound is preserved. May we always have the courage to listen to the world, to each other, and to the truths that speak in ways we have yet to understand. For Noelle. Noelle stands by the plaque. A young, hearing boy, maybe 6, tugs on her sleeve. He signs clumsily, slowly, Thea Chunky, Y-U-U. She smiles, then signs back, clear and slow for him, Ilistian, ITISPOWR. She places her palm flat on the old stone wall of the gallery. She feels the hum of the town, not with dread, but with connection. It's still a tapestry of vibration, but the dominant frequency has changed. It's no longer the thrum of hidden lies, but the complex, hopeful, messy symphony of a community learning, painfully, how to truly hear itself. Final narration, quiet, resonant. The world is loud with the voices of those who assume they should be heard, but sometimes the most vital truth is held in silence, in a vibration, in the perception of those the world has taught to be quiet. Justice isn't just about giving voice to the voiceless. It's about dismantling the arrogance that declared them silent in the first place. It's about learning that listening isn't a passive act, it's the most active form of respect. What truths are vibrating right now, in your life, in your community, that you've been trained not to hear? And what would change if you finally leaned in and listened?